So, the topic for discussion of this video is, or question rather, is what is love? Interesting question, actually. I would bet that a lot of people have different definitions for that word, for that question. And I don't think anybody's wrong. However, me personally, I subscribe to the idea that love is the recognition of self and other. And when I say other, I don't mean that's limited to just people. That means things. And when I say recognize self, that begs the question, well, what do we identify self as? Me personally, I identify self as pure energy. Pure energy, right now, speaking itself into existence. And because pure energy exists all around us, then that means that love exists all around us. Because if love is the recognition of self, then that opportunity to recognize self in other exists at all times, everywhere. And so, what that means is love is not dependent. Love is not restricted. It's limitless because it's infinite, meaning the opportunity to recognize self and other exists at all times, which means that the ability to live in a state of love exists at all times. The opportunity to live in a state of love exists at all times. All you have to do is identify self as pure energy. Bada bing, bada boom. Your opportunity to recognize self and other exists everywhere you go, everywhere you look, everywhere you close your eyes, every time you go to sleep. Because pure energy is all things. And so, pure love is reasonless. If someone were to ask me, Brandon, why do you love? Why do you love me? Why do you love that person? And I could sit here and write down a list, a Rolodex of reasons, this, that, and the other thing, all superficial, three-dimensional reasons. However, those would all pale in comparison to the real reason, which is reasonless. Love is reasonless. You do not need a reason to love. I do not need a reason to love. And I'm recognizing that the more I allow myself to sink and surrender into that state of being, the more powerful I become and the greater experience I have by living in a state of love all the time. So I choose to identify self as pure energy, and I choose to practice recognizing self in all things. Now, I will say I'm still fucking human. I have an ego that's trying to survive, and it identifies with certain things, certain memories, certain interests, certain whatever. It identifies with whatever it thinks it needs to identify with in order to survive, whatever's familiar. And so I say that because I'm not, I still have to practice. I still have to spend energy letting go of that ego, that egotistical identity with whatever it is. Because at the end of the day, I recognize that living in a state of love is the best state. Well, it's the most enjoyable state, I should say that. The most enjoyable state of living. And so love is reasonless. I love without reason. I love without cause. I love without goals. I need no reason to love you. It's that simple. I love you. You may not believe that. That's okay. I don't need you to believe that. In fact, loving you does not require me for you to believe that. So, I love you. Without reason, without cause, without goals. I just love.